This is worksheet 8.4, and in this first section we're going to solve each equation using the quadratic formula or completing the square. Solving an equation by completing the square is the new lesson today, so I'll go ahead and do two of those. I'm just going to pick 2 and 5 to do using this method, although you could use quadratic formula for any of these problems as well. So in number 2, we have the equation given, and we're going to try to isolate the c on one side and the ax squared plus bx on the other side. So I'm going to move the 8x over to the left side. Before we can complete the square, we need to factor out the a value. So I'm going to take out the 4, and that becomes x squared plus 2x. And now we're ready to complete the square. So 4 times x squared plus 2x plus, and we're going to add a number here. If I add a number to the left side, I have to add a number to the right side. To figure out what this number should be so that this is a perfect square trinomial, we're going to use the formula b divided by 2 squared. So in this problem, we don't want to use the original b value, we want to use the new b value. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 1 squared is 1. On this side, we don't want to add a 1. In order to balance the equation, we need to add 4 times 1, so 4. Now we can factor this side, so factoring x squared plus 2x plus 1, we get x plus 1 squared. And then on this side we get a 1. Before I square root both sides, I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 4. So I have x plus 1 squared equals 1/4. And then I'm going to square root both sides. So this gives me x plus 1 equals plus or minus 1/2. Remember that it could be positive or negative 1/2 since this is being squared. So I get negative 1 plus or minus 1/2. So my solutions here, I have two solutions. X equals negative 1 plus 1/2. That would be negative 1/2. Or x equals negative 1 minus 1/2. Negative 1.5, or we could write it as negative 3/2. All right, let's do another one with the same method. Let's look at number 5. So here we have an equation that's already in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, but we want to move the c over to the other side. So I'm going to move the 4 over to the right side. Okay, so again, we need to factor out the a value and then complete the square. So if we do b divided by 2 squared, here b is equal to negative 4. So I have negative 4 divided by 2 squared. That would be 4. That means I need to add 3 times 4, or 12, to the other side. So factoring this, we have a 4 and a negative 4. So that would be x minus 2 times x minus 2, or x minus 2 squared, equals 16. If we divide both sides by 3, then we get x minus 2 squared equals 16/3. And then we can take the square root of both sides. So this is x minus 2 equals plus or minus. If we take the square root of 16, we get 4. If we take the square root of 3, we can just write it as root 3. So x equals, I need to add 2 to this side, so that becomes 2 plus or minus 4/√3. You may want to do what's called rationalizing the denominator, meaning we don't normally want to have a radical in the denominator. To do that, you just need to multiply this fraction by √3/√3. So that becomes 2 plus or minus 4√3 over √3 times √3 is just 3.